Okay, guys, before the episode starts, I just wanted to add in this disclaimer, I guess. We did have audio issues when recording this episode, so they come in the beginning and the end for some reason. The beginning is not too bad, but the end was very difficult to edit out, so just bear with me or bear with us. I tried my best to edit things out to make it as least choppy as possible, but some stuff had to stay in for it to stay cohesive and a little bit coherent. Um, so, with that being said, I wanted to make a clarification on last week's episode about a family that I lived with. I'd lived with two families growing up, well, multiple families. That is neither here nor there, but there was one family that took me in. It was one of my best friend's parents. That family that I referenced in last week's episode is not them. This is a different family. And I also wanted to clarify that this different family was not necessarily predominantly Christian, but they were very heavily conservative, and the matriarch of the household was Christian. So just wanted to clarify that before we got into this week's episode. Blessed be chaotic cryptids. This is B.
This is Red. You're listening to, bruh.
And this is Cass. Welcome to our second episode.
Okay, so last week we talked about just who we are, where we've been, where we want to go in terms of spirituality, religion, metaphysics, anything in that bracket. And this week we're going to talk about organized religion and the means of control it has over society. By implementing a quote-unquote higher power versus believing in yourself, believing in the power of yourself, and basically holding yourself accountable for your own actions. So that's kind of what we're talking about this week. I know Sarah kind of wanted to Sarah read either or. I know that she wanted to, delve into this topic, so I'll kind of I hit the mic. I'll kind of lean on you if you want to kind of say what you want to say, and we can kind of all go from there.
Yeah, so, while organized religion is not inherently uh, evil, I think we all want to gotta say that. It's what you do with it. But it is definitely set up in a way where all of the focus is outside of yourself. All of the rules are outside of yourself. And when you're constantly looking outward, you're not developing your own moral compass. You're not really doing things because that's what feels right to you and that's what aligns to you. You're doing things because a higher power says that you should. And I also believe in a higher power. As a witch, I actually believe there are several. But for me, it's about that balance of having my own morals and ethics, not because I'm afraid to go to hell, but because that's who I am, and having a higher power that's much more for support than kind of this parental almost do what you're told or else you'll get punished
Yeah.
thing that's so hard to break out of when you start moving into more of a spiritual space rather than kind of an organized religion situation.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say that for me, I'm still in a place where I'm not sure that I believe in an interactive higher power. per
Hmm.
se. So deities and stuff like that. I do believe in the power of the universe, um, and karma and whatnot. But I believe that I truly believe that for me, the deity in my life is me. And I have the ultimate say. I control it. I have power over my own life. I am
Hmm.
the god of my own universe. And I don't say that in an
Love that.
egotistical way. It's just I believe in manifestation. Science. There have been studies that basically say what you put in the universe is what you get, essentially.
Hmm.
When you speak about yourself, your brain believes that thing about yourself, and it's that's and having it doesn't almost it makes you hold yourself accountable to what happens in your life because you don't have anybody else to blame but yourself. And that's looking at religion. That's one of those things that organized religion seems to do, as a way to control you. You know, you're shameful, you're disgusting, you don't deserve any of the good things that happen to you unless you do this one thing, and even then you're not worthy of it. You're never going to be worthy enough of this
Hmm.
thing. So you need to do all of these things to be worthy, but you're never going to be worthy. So it's a vicious cycle. And when you kind of step out of that, it's not normal, and people are like, that's weird. Organized religion is like, no, you need to get back in your bubble. You need to stay back in your place.
Hmm.
And it's a means of control because you're now the outcast. You're the weird one. Um you're not part of the group anymore.
Mm. Well, first of all, I would love to touch on something you said, which is the science of manifestation. Hopefully, we can touch on that in a later episode because there's actually many studies that have been done that link quantum physics with manifestation. There's a lot of interesting things about the fractal theory of the universe and how that all ties in together. So, um, I would love for us to discuss that at a future date. That
Absolutely.
kind of thing makes me so
100%.
um,
Yes,
but
that
when
is
it comes, but when it, you are right, when it comes to that, because I also believe I am the god of my own universe. When I work with outside forces or however you want to see it, it's me connecting to the energy of what I want more
mhm.
than anything and grounding myself in that space. But you're right, there's a very kind of thinly veiled idea that if you are in organized religion, and I think we've probably all seen examples of this in our personal lives where we're in a church setting or a group setting, and people will quote unquote fall out of line, and all of a sudden all of this talk of compassion goes away.
Mhm.
They're, they tend to ostracize and gossip about that person
Mhm.
under this weird veneer of wanting to help them, but they're not actually helping them. They're just talking about them.
Yes.
And then they tag on, well, we'll pray for them,
Oh,
like a
that
magic
part.
eraser.
Yes. Like you talk all this shit about someone and you're like, "We'll pray for them." Like, I don't need your prayers. Please keep them to yourselves.
Yes, because there are actual viable ways to help people going through a situation. Um, and they almost all involve talking to that person and saying, I see you're in this situation. What do you need? How can I
Mhm.
support you?
Yep. And
Talking,
following through on that
yes,
support.
yes, talking to Deborah, in the back of the church, in the back pew, that's not going to fix anything. That person probably needs a home cooked meal and
Yeah.
someone to have a cup of coffee with.
Yes, someone to talk to and actually listen and hear them, not just preach to them or try and change their views.
Yes, that's the thing. It's this sanitized version of community when
Mm.
really what community should be about is if someone falls down, they have someone in the muck with them, as opposed to now a group of people um, bonding over judging the person who has fallen.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Yeah, that's really good. I to backtrack, I did want to say this. This is kind of a little off topic, ADHD brain.
Mm.
Um, but to kind of take it back to last week a little bit, I know when everything happened with me and I lost my faith, um,
Mhm.
it was honestly the best way that I can say it is it was very freeing, especially for me and Jason,
Mhm.
because we had this idea of bad things happen, right? And
Mhm.
God deems it so for a reason, or it's Satan.
Mhm.
Um, but with God being all knowing and whatever, we had it in our head that everything happens for a reason. That's what the church told you. You know, God has its reasons. God, what is it? God works in mysterious ways, blah.
Yeah.
And so we had we had that in our head. And so when we went through what we went through, um, we had gone through a lot that year, like a lot. Loss, just so much. And it was constantly, we were teetering, like I said last week, on our faith. And we were just like, if everything happens for a reason, why is this happening? Right?
Mhm.
What is the reason for this, for all of this? Constantly until that moment where we tested our faith and nothing happened. And that was when we were like, okay, well, we don't believe anymore. And it was freeing because you don't have to wonder why.
Mhm.
You just know that bad things happen sometimes, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it. There's nobody to blame sometimes, unless it's a one person hurts the other. Because in my opinion, there is no higher power to be mad at. Who are you going to be mad at if you don't believe? And that was so freeing because I'm like, okay, now it's nobody's fault. There's no reason for me to ask why. It just happens.
And that's the
That's
thing. Then it
freedom.
just becomes a situation that you can deal with,
Yes.
as opposed to also putting this philosophical, moral quandary
Mm.
like, what is the lesson? Have I learned it? The fear that if you haven't learned the mysterious lesson, will it happen again? Because you hear that all the
Yeah.
time.
Or when you're like wondering constantly about bad stuff that happened years ago, it's like, okay, well, people read
Mhm.
into stuff and they're like, oh my God, God put this situation in my life so that I could be
Ah,
right
yeah.
here. And I'm
Mhm.
like, no, sometimes things just happen. And I'm that person that believes that I do believe that everything does happen for a reason, but I don't
Mhm.
believe that it's some puppeteer controlling those things. I believe that you manifest what you want in your life, and the universe provides you those things to help manifest those things. It's not about puppeteering anything. It's about providing you with the tools to allow you the opportunity to get what you want in life or what
Mhm.
you're manifesting in life.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because I've heard a lot of people kind of speaking about things happening too as like a punishment situation, right? Like, oh, well, you did this and this is your punishment for that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or there's also this idea of soul contracts that I don't love, where they say you signed up for everything that you faced in life, because respectfully, no, the F I did not. Um, sure didn't. Thank you,
No,
though.
no, thank you. I appreciate
But
that.
but you're right. I do think that when you say things happen for a reason, it's more of you can let things break you, or they can become an opportunity to take a step towards what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, it is something we're pulling in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not it's not like, oh, I have followed these rules and now I get this as a gift, but
Mm-hmm.
oops, I broke this rule and now this happens.
Well, and it's even taking that, like, oops, I broke this rule.
Mhm.
In that moment, it's you're not taking accountability for breaking that rule. You're putting that blame on sin.
Mhm.
I didn't do it. Sin did it. You're
Mhm.
taking that accountability and responsibility off of yourself. And
Mhm.
that's eh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't either. It inhibits our self-growth because
Yes.
sometimes, uh, as we go through life, we pick up kind of crappy coping mechanisms for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, we end up with some toxic behaviors, or we behave in ways that we wish we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of that one of my favorite sayings is that it's not your fault, but it's your responsibility.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so as you move forward, you do have to look at things and say, "Hey, I did this crappy thing." Figure out why and how not to do it again moving forward, as opposed to some mysterious evil that wants you to do bad things and
Mm.
fail in life. It is hovering over you. Um, because if you blame someone else, you're right, you're never looking at yourself. Not
Mm-mm.
really.
No, and you're never learning and you're never growing.
No, you're just staying stagnant. And even prayer, if prayer makes you feel better personally, that's amazing if that does great things for you. But you have to implement actual real world strategies
Yes.
as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's more than just saying a few words. You have to put in the work. Like nothing. The thing
Yeah.
is like everybody always talks about the younger generation
Hmm.
not wanting to do or put in the work, but then you turn around and you tell people just pray about it or I'll pray for you. What are you doing? What are you actively doing to change your circumstance, other people's circumstances? What are you physically actively doing? Prayer only helps so far. And I believe that prayer is a form of manifestation,
Hmm.
a form of witchcraft, 100%.
Hmm.
But nothing gets fixed without action.
That's
Words
the
mean
thing.
nothing.
There are a lot of times where I hear people say, um, "I'm praying about it," and that's neat, but you should probably also go to a therapist because I'm listening to it, and you need someone who's going to talk to you back and say, here are the coping mechanisms that you can replace
Mm-hmm.
whatever that was with, you
Whatever that
know,
was.
because you can't just, it is nice to believe that things will just be lifted from your shoulders.
Mm,
Um, but the thing is, even if it is for a little while, when those same circumstances creep back in, you're going to fall back into that same behavior
hmm.
if you have not come up with a plan for if it happens again.
And that's funny because it takes us back to the fact that organized religion doesn't want you to really truly grow.
You know,
It
um,
wants you to stay in that vicious cycle of praying and physically doing nothing about anything, not yourself, just praying so that you keep falling back on the church, you know?
yes, because it thrives with you needing constant redemption. It
Hmm.
thrives with you falling back down so that you need help to get back up. So you keep looking to that outside source. If you stand on your own 2 feet and you say, "Hey, maybe I'm okay," that's an issue.
Mm, yep. Because then you start asking the questions, you start seeing the patterns, you start believing in yourself and what you see with your own eyes and what you're actively
Mhm.
doing, that you start questioning things.
Yes, that's the thing. If you're too busy feeling guilty and not enough, then you don't have the capacity to say, hey, this doesn't really make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole shut up and have faith thing is not really doing it anymore. Because the thing is, there are no answers to those questions.
Mm-mm.
So once you start asking them, once you've kind of moved beyond that whole, well, you just have to have faith and that just needs to be good enough. Once you push past that, there's not much there.
No, there's really not.
So, I was homeschooled, so I got to take the Bible as a course.
Oh,
Um, so
fun.
Ew.
when people talk to me about this is something I actually studied uh,
You're like, I
most
know
of
what I'm
my
talking
life.
about, guys.
I do, and I remember vividly so many times that there would be a passage that I would find kind of deeply disturbing and in no way related to a higher power that I could then see as benevolent. And having those questions where it's like, yes, I hear you say all loving, but then I see this verse where they're saying something horrific, where they're being ordered to do something horrific. And it's not matching up for me.
Yeah.
And just being told, well, this is where faith comes in. And I'm thinking, no, 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 because 1 + 2 = 3. These are facts. This is an evil act that I am being told a benevolent, loving father figure is asking of people. So
Yeah.
1 + 2 is equaling 7, and I can't just have faith.
That is true.
Yeah, it's just the facts aren't matching. You can't
Yeah.
outfaith facts
Mm-mm. No.
to me.
And that's what they are all about.
I mean, you
Yeah.
can't do that correctly.
No.
You're gonna be
No.
wrong. You're gonna be hella wrong. You can
You are,
try
and
though.
confused. And confused.
Very
It's a
Yes.
very
confused.
confusing feeling. And then that's just another area where they said, well, if you had more faith,
Oh my
you
God. Yeah.
wouldn't
There's
even
never
wonder.
enough faith. And then
There's
when you
never enough faith.
and then when you lose the faith, it didn't happen to me, but I've heard it from other people. But when you quote unquote lose the faith,
Mhm.
the one thing, and I'm going to attribute Rhett and Link, because there was an episode of their podcast, or maybe a few episodes, I can't remember, but they talk about how they lost their faith. It was around the same
Mhm.
time that I was actually losing mine that I was listening to that episode. It was really, really very insightful. I would
Mhm.
recommend that episode. I don't remember what the name is, so whoever's listening, I'm so sorry. You probably Google it and find it. But basically what they said, because they were like studying to be pastors and whatnot,
Mhm.
if I remember correctly. And they had experiences where, and then I'm sorry, let me just reference one other person that I followed on on YouTube. Genetically modified skeptic. He has had
Mhm.
this experience. He grew up in a fundamentalist type church
Mhm.
family. So both of them mention Rhett and Link and the genetically modified skeptic. They both mention this concept of when they were in the church and other people would start questioning and leave,
Mhm.
you never really believed in the first place, quote unquote.
Yes.
They never were truly believed. They never truly had faith in God. They never truly believed in God. If they did, they would have done this, this, and that, and they would have
Mhm.
gotten their way here. Well, no, that it blows my mind. Getting off topic, and it blows my mind, and it makes me so angry when people will, not just in religion, but people will tell you how you felt about something.
Yes. Ugh.
Like, what do you mean I never believed in the first place? Or what do you mean I didn't experience that trauma? Or what do you mean I'm not experiencing this thing right now? How do you get to tell me what I'm feeling? That's not how that works. Sorry, that was my
100%.
That was my
No,
kid. That was making me
100%.
mad.
Um, that's one of my pet peeves too, because I think I don't know if anyone else has struggled with this, but expressing my emotions has been something I've fought really hard to do.
I'm raising my hand.
Yeah, raising your hand. So when I take that step out, and when I have chosen you as someone who I can be vulnerable enough with to say, "Hey, I'm feeling this way," and then you tell me, "No, you don't." The way I want to punch somebody is
We don't condone violence, but
we
the
don't we
feeling
don't
is there.
condone violence. No, I want to, but no, we don't condone violence. But it's like, especially if someone has asked, "How are you feeling? What
Yeah.
are you going through?" And then you say, "Well, this has left me feeling like that." Or another thing that also ties back to organized religion for me is, getting very superficial answers to very deep trauma,
Ooh, yes. That is
right?
that is organized. That's the church's favorite thing.
It is,
When
because
I say
then
the
then
church,
what do we hear?
I just want to clarify, it's easier for me to verbalize the word the church versus
Mm,
organized religion. My tongue
yeah,
stumbles over it. So when I'm saying the church, I don't mean, I don't know. I just mean organized
yeah.
religion. It's so much easier for
Not
me to
all
say that.
churches.
Not all churches, but the
But I
church.
will say that is what we have had experience in. I've
Yeah.
had experience in a very fundamentalist um, thing where, again, people will say, "Oh, I'm going through this," and all you hear is,
Give it to
"Pray
God.
more, give it to God, pray
Like,
more, read more of
the
the
favorite,
Bible."
the favorites, let go, let God.
Ugh.
Yeah, let go, let God. And people are over here drowning, and
Let
Yes.
and
God
there's a
fight.
hand poking out of the water, and you just like stuffed a Bible verse in it and pushed it
Hmm.
back down.
Instead of grabbing my hand and pulling me up.
Yeah, there's no, the human experience is so messy,
Mm.
and it gets so ugly sometimes. And we all go out of our way to celebrate when something good happens. You have this kind of party, that kind of celebration. But when someone is in that ugly spot, even though we all go through it, we don't want to look at it. We
Mm.
just want to sprinkle some platitudes on them
Yep.
and kind of flitter off into the night saying, I have solved this thing.
Yeah.
You are
Sorrows.
well. And
Sorrows.
and
Sorrows, prayers.
yes, ours prayers. And then they have to deal with both the problem they're going through and smiling and nodding their way through that dumb crap you just said.
Yeah, pretending like you changed my life by saying
Yeah,
it'll be okay. They're there. Like I don't want to comfort you and deal with my shit.
yes.
What do you
If
mean
you
that
cannot
happened?
bring, yes, if you cannot bring something to the table, don't show up at all.
Ooh, I love that.
Ooh.
I didn't ask for you to comfort me. You went out of your way to find me and ask me what's wrong. Um, because if you give me a platitude, you just asked because you were nosy.
Oh, that part. Oh my
Hmm.
God, that part.
You didn't care what I was going through.
And
You
don't
didn't
get
want
me
to.
wrong. I'm a nosy bitch. I am so
Me
fucking
too, girl.
nosy.
I want to know. But
But
I'm
I'm
not
not
going to
gonna
pretend I'm helping you to
exactly.
get the tea. Like,
I'm going to stand close to you while somebody else asks you, and I'm going to listen in.
But
oh
then I'm
my
gonna step up and try and help as best
Yeah.
I can. I'm
Like,
gonna
if I know
actually do the
you,
work.
I'm going to try and help in any way I can,
Yeah.
But if I don't know you, but I heard there's some tea, and, I might kind of try to ease my cup over a little bit and catch a little drop or two, just so I
Good
can. Just so I can taste the tea. Don't want to be in the tea. Just
Yeah, well, here's the thing though. If I love you, I am willing to be in the tea with you.
yes.
Yes.
I am, I have friends. I'm not just going to view your discomfort and go, "Oh, that looks rough.
I'm
That's rough,
sorry.
Pray
buddy.
about it." Yeah, I hate that for you. Anyways,
I'm
you
gonna go do
know,
my thing.
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta go. This is icky, but thank you for giving me the details. I wanted those.
But
Um,
that's the thing. I'm not asking a stranger to fill up my teacup and give me all their drama, you know?
I know.
But
I'm
like
just
a
saying,
friend,
like
heck yeah.
with my friends, it's like I don't care if we have to talk about the same subject 856 times. I don't care if you trip over the same rock 400 times. Uh, I don't care if you're crying and it's the big ugly sobbing. I'm there with you.
Yes.
And no matter what that looks like for you, if you just need me to be quiet while you vent, it's fine, but don't come up to someone for them to lay their things out just for you to look at if
Mm.
you are not willing to help them pick that up
Yeah.
in a real, viable way. That
Yes.
is what community is.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's not what organized religion offers ever. I think the
Mm-mm.
I think sometimes there are people that get it. There are some humans
Yes,
that are Christian,
yes,
Muslim, uh, whatever religion you subscribe to. There are actual human beings who subscribe to those
yes.
religions who do um, emulate that
I agree.
helping people. But overall, the organized religion aspect of it doesn't encourage it. They don't practice it. It's all icky stuff is shoved under the rug.
Yes.
Um,
Or it's
and
used as
only,
a
It
only
hides a
platform.
lot of crime. We're
do
not even
what?
going to delve into it, but that hides
Yeah.
a lot of crime.
It does. Oh my God,
And
yes.
icky stuff is swept under the rug.
The really icky stuff.
Yeah. But also, they'll talk about it if it's a platform for them to take a step up. If it
Mm-hmm.
boosts their career in the church somehow, they'll happily out your shit to the whole congregation or the whole
Yeah.
whatever. Like,
But
Yeah.
I do think it is important to touch on what BB said, um, because Christians themselves are not bad. There's actually, some people really do need that idea of a higher power. They really need someone to lean on,
Yeah.
but they do come to it from a view of compassion, from a view of trying to better other people. But I,
Okay, guys. So we had some technical issues when recording. So I'm kind of recording over what was said in this part, and just kind of filling it in. So I'm just gonna say who said what was said. There's gonna be a part down later on in the podcast that I'm also gonna have to dub over, but again, it's just gonna be me reading off what was said. So here we go. So here, Sarah is saying, it depends so much on. We don't want to talk about cliques in religion, but there definitely are. And then we'll pick back up where the audio picks back up without the technical issues. Apologies. Oh,
um,
absolutely.
and so when I went to a church when I was younger, there were people that were. I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this because of like how much I want out there. But
Yeah.
there are people who were referred to as touched by the Spirit who would get one experience in the church, and then there were the others,
Mm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Um, so even in youth group, I remember we would stand in a circle and close our eyes. And this is to go out and preach at people on the streets who just wanted to go see a movie.
Oh
We would,
no.
yeah, we were a little army, but we would have to stand in the circle with our eyes closed. And the youth pastor would go around and tap you on the shoulder if God had chosen you for this mission, right? Because they were missions. We were like, it was a very
to war.
militaristic type thing. And the thing is, I was never chosen because my parents were not popular enough in the church Now, I
Oh,
should put to you that my mother was in charge of the daycare, and she also cleaned the church every weekend.
mm,
So she was good enough to do labor,
mm.
but not good enough to be a part of the community.
Oh.
And we all felt it. Even as a small child, I was there 5 through, I want to say, maybe 10, 11.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Um, and even at that age, I understood we were not, like, I didn't know what a rank was, but I knew we didn't have it.
Can you
You know what I
imagine,
mean?
or not can you imagine, you experienced it, but like
Hmm.
being that age, and I'm sure
Hmm.
at that point, there were some kids, I don't know if you believed genuinely in God at that point, but can like being in that headspace, you're 10, 11, you're
Hmm.
preteen, you're looking for validation, you're looking for safety in some way. You're in this group and they're like, "Okay, if I tap you on the shoulder, you're essentially God's chosen in this moment."
Hmm.
Right? And that child is
Hmm.
never getting picked. What does that tell that child? That they are never in God's favor?
And that is what it told me. If I'm being honest with you, it was because I would, after everyone left, we just had to go back and sit with our parents. It was and this church, again, very fundamentalist. It was our life, right? It was
Mm,
Sunday, it was Wednesday, it was this, it was that. Um, so to have that be your entire community, like my
mhm.
babysitter was from the church. We babysat other people from the church. I only had my little handful of friends were in the church. And we wouldn't be chosen. And I remember distinctly um, also, you were more likely to get chosen if you donated a lot of money. I don't know
Well,
if
of
that
course.
needed to be said out loud, but that was
What's
no.
that correlation there?
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure we
weird
could
that
find
that happened.
something.
I know we might be able to match it up, but I remember before my family left the church. First of all, it was starting to get real weird. Like it was getting to the point
And not
where
the good
you were,
weird.
yeah, not the good weird. We were crossing into Coltville, and we had
Oh,
rollerblades
geez.
on, and we were on the way, and
Rollerblades.
I was.
Rollerblades for Jesus.
Rollerblades for God. But we went. I went to spend the night at my best friend's house. Of course, they were also in the church, and her mom and I was a child. I was like 9 or 10, and her mom pulled me aside.
Oh no.
Uh, yeah, while we were spending the night with her and her like 8 kids, and she pulled me aside and she told me she was concerned for me because Jesus was leaving my family
What?
behind. Mhm.
Girl, what do you mean?
I had no idea because I was like
Why would you
9,
tell that
right?
to a 9 or 10-year-old?
I'm gonna be like, I'll get on that.
I'd be
Thanks.
so terrified as a kid. Like, what do you mean Jesus is leaving us?
Yeah, well, here was the thing. As the church kind of delved into um, cult land, it's it started to separate
Mm-hmm.
people. Like there would be people that always sat in the front pews, the people touched by the Spirit, who
Mm-hmm.
Jesus was taking, and then in the back pews, because he could only reach the first few
Of
pews, he
course.
couldn't get all the way back to
No,
ours.
he's not that
Um,
far. He's not
yeah,
omnipotent.
yeah. So,
Long ass creepy arms.
Oh my
so
God, I'm
when I
picturing
was,
a freaking flesh pedestrian. Ugh.
but you know, almost immediately after that, we left the church and also never spoke to anyone in it again. And what I did not remember is when I had gone home, I had gone to my mom And I had cried because Jesus is leaving our family behind.
So sad.
And it was, and my mom was like, "Oh no, he's not." And then we just never went back or talked about it again until like I think in the last decade,
Oh my
where I've
gosh.
been like, "Hey guys, you guys remember that cult we were in? That was crazy, right?"
And your mom's always like, that wasn't a cult.
Mm.
No, because there's a registry for cults, and
Were they on it?
they are now.
Oh my god.
They
Yeah,
are
I need
but
to know the
but your
church.
mom's logic is that it wasn't a cult when y'all were in it. It became a cult after y'all left it, supposedly.
That's stressful.
It is,
That's
but
really
I have to.
stressful. Okay, here we are picking up where the audio started goofing again. I apologize in advance. I'm reading a lot right now, so please bear with me. I'm going to try and read as slow as possible, but not too slow to where you get bored. So I say, that's stressful. Sarah says, it is, but I have to tell you so that everyone who is listening knows that healing is not linear and it is messy. I do love bringing it up now. Every now and then, I just traumatize people back as a little treat. And then I come in. I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things, telling people my trauma so that they can be with me. But the ones that get it, get it. The ones that don't, I know that we're not going to vibe. Do you? I'm so glad that you don't have trauma, but we're just not going to vibe. And then Sarah comes in, says yes, because I think once you have the trauma and you've been through all of these things, and then people want to talk about football or whatever, and then I come in, I can't do football. Small talk is not my thing. I figured out why I get so exhausted from small talk. It's because I'm putting up my mask and I'm putting on this fake quote unquote show. It's not that I can't do it or do small talk. It's just that I'm not being my true self. I know this is a tangent, but that's who we are. Sarah comes back. It's an amazing point because for me, this goes back to having to hide. Correction, sorry. Goes back to having to spend my entire childhood in a mask because I was completely, good Lord, I'm so sorry, I told you I'm not a reader, out loud anyway, because I was being asked to completely fold and surrender to something that I did not understand, that was very confusing to me, that was openly leaving me out in the space I was told was our community. I can't even ask questions, can't talk about what I'm really feeling, can't talk about what I'm really thinking. So having to take that mask, it doesn't fit anymore. I wore it when I was a kid and I don't like putting it back on so that we can talk about what Susan ate while watching a Georgia Bulldogs game this weekend. Again, I'm so sorry. I'm not a public speaker by any means. I'm much more for a conversation. So I'll leave this and then we'll pick back up where that audio picks up.
I just doesn't
It
it
doesn't
doesn't fit anymore. No.
it doesn't feel right. And I don't know, maybe it's because you and I are like chronic oversharers, but
Yes.
like I just find connection so much better and I find community so much better when we jump right into the deep weird. It doesn't even have to be a deep conversation like obviously me you're trying.
Hmm.
I want to know them, but like it doesn't even
Yeah.
have to be just about that. Like this whole show is an example of us being chronic oversharers. Like we talk about all of the things, cryptids, like lucid dreaming, everything, and I don't know. I think this is where that mask falls away from
Yes.
working a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. It's exhausting because I'm always having to put on that fake mask for me. So,
And I think too, what this goes back to is I personally have found the organized religion I was offered
mhm.
and that I have seen and experienced very, very shallow. Like I
Oh yeah.
said, it doesn't stand up to any questioning. The compassion is very like, here's a band-aid for your bullet wound.
Hmm.
It's a very, it's something you can't look at too closely.
Yes.
And
It's
because
like
of
an
that,
AI picture. I'm sorry. I just want to bring AI into It's like
yes,
an AI photo. The closer you look, the more you're like, that toe
yes,
has two toenails and you have 5 feet. That's weird. You're not. I'm out.
yeah,
That's not a real
yeah,
picture.
Yeah, it's the
it doesn't make any sense. So at this point, I crave depth.
Yes.
I I want to be able to find the link between manifestation and quantum physics and
Yes.
understand things on a deep level and understand myself on a deep level. Deep enough where I can say, this was traumatic, this really hurt me. And because, and again, in what I have experienced from organized religion, you can't go too deep because people can't look at that.
Mm,
Because that's why you get the just pray about it. Because all that just pray about it, just talk to God, just read the Bible. What that means is get it the hell away from me.
yes. It's dismissing everything.
Don't get that on me. It's very don't get that
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very much what it is. I
Yeah,
agree.
and for me that's not who I am as a person. That's not how I interact with other people and the world.
Mm.
So if I do talk to someone and they give me that, that's my ick. That's
Yes.
my And
Yes. I get that. I do get that because I get that at work sometimes and I get it. I've noticed and you can I don't know if you guys I'm sure you can tell Sarah. Cass, I don't know about you, but I've noticed I can when someone's being genuinely caring and genuinely
hmm
wanting to know and when someone's just wanting to convert me because they know that I don't believe in God. I've had it happen one time at work and
hmm
bless her heart, I'm not going to say her name, but she's a sweetheart.
hmm
But I think either she got a vibe from me or someone told her. I don't know. And maybe she was being genuinely nice. I don't know. But I know that she goes to church. And the vibe that I got from her was very much she would ask me how I was doing. And she came and sat with me at lunch one day. And she was just like, "How are you doing?" And me being me, I'm an overshare. I'm gonna tell you everything.
Right.
And so she shared with me too, and like it wasn't a bad interaction. Don't get me wrong, but it just kind of got to a point where I started feeling like she's about to ask me to come to church. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's the vibe that I got from her. And again, I'm not. She's not a good person. I'm not even saying that she didn't. She did it out of like motives to get me into church, but that's just what the church preaches. Compassion
hmm
or what is it? Um oh, recruiting through compassion.
Yes.
That's what goes through my head. And I don't want to be recruited. I've been there, done that, and you may not know that, but it's not some that's leave people alone. Let
Well,
them
that's the
be.
thing. Yeah, it's not, it shouldn't be, love is not a sales pitch.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? When I tell you, like, hey, I'm here for you, I love you, I'm not trying to sneak you into witchcraft. I'm not like,
Mm-mm.
what if you burned a candle about it?
You
I
want to
am here
summon
to
a
be
demon
with
about it?
you. Yeah, that way I've got the perfect book for you. No, I want to be here with you on a human level
Yeah.
in the physical world where you are suffering,
Yes.
and we will look at it there. It's not it can feel very much like a funneling program when
Yeah.
certain people talk to you, even if they're coming from a real place, even if they're really, really thinking this is the missing part. And
Yeah.
once you have that, you will be healed
Yeah.
because you can pray about it. Even if it comes from a genuine place, one of the things that organized religion does not take into account is that everyone works differently and
Mm-hmm.
thus different things work for everyone.
Yes.
Like you and I are both spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
but our beliefs vary
Yeah.
in some way. And I don't want you to try to conform to what I'm doing
And
because it
ditto.
doesn't fit you. yeah, it fits me. This is what I do that works
Yeah.
for me. And you can find what you do that works for you. And, you know, uh, Cass could do whatever Cass wants to do because all that matters to
Chaos
me
Goblin is
is,
cast.
yes, is that you're thriving and you're happy and you've found as much peace in
Yeah.
life.
The icky part about it, the thing that I hate about it, I mean, there's a lot that I don't like about it, but if that coworker, she's not really an actual coworker on another, but if I believe she was being genuine, don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but the pressure and the knowledge that I know that she is a Christian
Hmm.
taints anything that she's
Hmm.
going to come to me about because I'm always and again, she may not have even been trying to hurt me, but
Right.
but knowing what I know about the church, it taints that connection. It taints
Yes.
it and it turns it into something that I'm like, oh, she's always going to want to be converting me. And she may not. She
Yeah.
may genuinely just want a friend or need a friend but that it's icky and it makes it where I'm like standoffish. And that's not who I am as a person. I don't want to be
Well,
standoffish.
no, you don't. But honestly, it can be the same vibe as when that person you knew in high school joins an MLM. And so, like a multi-level marketing
Oh,
thing,
pyramid
right?
scheme.
Pyramid scheme, yeah.
Yeah, like a pyramid scheme. And you see them post about it, and then all of a sudden they reach out and hit
Yep.
you with the hey, hun.
Yeah, how you
Um,
doing?
yeah, you don't think, oh my God, she wants to connect with me. It's been so long. You think, oh, they're trying to get me in the group.
Yep. I've had
I'm
that
not doing
happen to me
that at
though. I'm not
all.
even joking. One of
Yeah.
my elementary school bullies, she was my bully in elementary school.
It's always
We
the meanest girl
graduated.
you've ever known.
She came back and messaged me, was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Or she added me to the group, and I'm like, "Girl, what you mean? I don't want this."
Well, that's the thing too. It's the not having the connection
Mm.
to build upon. It's just swooping in and being like, "Hey,
Hey.
I know I don't actually know you. I know that I don't know what makes you tick. I know that I don't know what you've been through, but I do know the solution."
Exactly. And I'm gonna be that solution for you. Like,
Yes. And you
no.
can sell Avon too, and it'll be great.
Oh my
And it's
God.
like, and it does because as soon as they come to you, even no matter how sweet they are or how genuine they seem, you're just like, when are we going to get to the pitch?
It's tainted. It's all of it's
Yeah,
tainted.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I too want to connect with people that I think are being genuine.
Yeah.
I do. And but if I wanted to go to church, it's not like I can't find any.
Especially
I,
in the
I
South. Like,
yeah, I know when the service is.
there's
They're
one
at
right
8
down
and
the road.
11.
I could walk
Yeah,
there.
like I still remember the hymns. I haven't lived in Iraq. It literally in Iraq. I know what Christianity is. I have experienced it in my life. It didn't work for me. And that needs to be okay
Hmm.
because if someone meets me and they are a Christian, that's okay. I don't need them.
Mm-mm.
Like you don't need to be in the witches circle.
Nope.
That's fine. You do you. Just let me do me.
Yeah.
And
Stop pushing it on everybody.
yeah, like we don't all need to be in the same club. And that's another thing when we talk about community. Community should have a lot of different members. The point of community is to balance itself out so that certain people do certain things and other people do other things, and everyone has their strengths.
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be, we're not bees.
Mm-mm.
It's not supposed to be a unified conglomerate where we all believe the same thing and do the same thing. Our strength is in our differences.
Yeah.
And it really strips away that idea.
Yeah. And it all goes back to individual what? Individuality, being
Hmm.
yourself, exploring your own personal power. It all bringing it back all down to what we originally started with is a form of control. And
Yes.
it's, I'm gonna get a little conspiratorial here.
Go ahead. Okay.
Being in the
Okay.
US,
Mm-hmm.
and having a Christian quote unquote nation,
Mm-hmm.
it's the government's way of controlling those who don't fit in. It's because I mean they're already.
And no, I've got my tinfoil hat on too, girl. I just yanked it off the shelf. Um, the thing is, if you put people in a situation where thinking for yourself is literally punished by eternity in hell,
Mm,
once you stop thinking for yourself in one area, that's going to spread. It's malignant,
yes,
right?
yes.
I can't question this, so I won't question anything.
Mm, it's a little culty.
Yeah, you learn to be a sheep, you learn to keep your head down, and then you're not a problem.
Hmm.
That's all I'm gonna say
Yep.
is if you have your head down, you're not a problem. If you're
Yeah.
looking at your feet instead of at the world,
Yeah. That's it.
yeah.
Isn't there that
um.
whole phrase? I think it's with the Chinese military or government or something. It's like the nail that sticks out gets hammered down, and that's
Oh, I never.
you've never heard
Oh,
that?
I've never heard that.
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I could very well be wrong.
Be from the future here, for the fact check on the quote unquote Chinese proverb. It is, in fact, not a Chinese proverb. It is Japanese, and the phrase is the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. So there you go. I know you're good.
But there's somewhere where the phrase "the nail that sticks out gets or hammered down," and
Hmm.
it's pretty much saying conform and don't be different or get beat
Mm-hmm.
down until you are conforming.
Hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what organized religion does, is it beats you into what they want, what they think you should be
Hmm.
to be accepted by
Mm-hmm.
that religion,
Hmm.
and they put down any part of you that doesn't conform to that religion until you
Mm-hmm.
change
Conform or else.
yourself or hide yourself to
Yeah.
be what they want you to be.
Yeah.
And they
And it's
vilify
under
anyone
the
who
mask.
doesn't.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they do that under the mask of a family.
Hmm.
There is, I feel personally, from what I personally have seen with my eyes, that there is a reason that that a lot, it's father.
Yes.
It is, it is someone you already grew up with as an authority figure, then put as your new greater authority figure.
Hmm.
And nobody wants to be the disappointing child.
No.
Here's a
So
secret:
it's
we
kind
all
of,
are. In that, in organized religion, at least, you're a disappointment
yeah.
until you die and go to heaven, quote
Well,
unquote.
that's kind of what I'm saying is being kept in the redemption cycle as opposed to growing and bettering yourself and seeing what you are supposed to become and
Hmm.
what you have the power to become. You don't have to wait um, to read a certain Bible verse or to say a certain prayer. You don't have to wait to talk to your pastor or do whatever it is. It's you can just start looking at your own behavior and start looking at it as I know my morals because I would not want this done to me. because that is how we really gauge what we feel is right or wrong. What would we
Mhm.
be okay with if we were on the receiving end? And once we notice that we are putting out things that we are not okay with, it is our job to figure out how to stop that. It
Yes.
is not our job to keep doing it and keep asking for forgiveness and then going and doing it again and asking for forgiveness.
You're
Like,
I'm sorry.
figure it out. Figure it
Leo
out is what
Skeppy.
I'm
You're
saying.
you're giving me Leo Skeppy vibes.
Because we're doing the hand motions. But
Which
but
with
really,
the words, like yeah.
yeah. But it is. It's go to the higher power on your knees. It is never stand up and get your crap together.
Oh yes.
And the thing is, you'll be talking to someone that's in this redemption cycle. And they're like, you know, I keep sliding back, is what
Mhm.
you hear a lot. There's a lot of, I'm sliding back. And you are because you're not looking at it, you're praying about it.
Yes. Ooh, that's good.
And praying is fine. But what I'm saying to you, the royal you, is do both.
Yes. Both. Both is good.
Yes, do both. Take a look at yourself.
Insert Road to El Dorado gif here.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Both is good.
both.
Both. Both
Both
But
is
is
good.
good.
it is because when we sit there and wait and just pray, or even as a witch, even if I just light a candle
Hmm.
and just sprinkle some herbs, if I don't have intention and follow through, all I have is a fire hazard.
Oh my God. Put that on a
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah, all I have is a fire hazard. I have to say, this is my problem. I am using this ritual to connect with what I want to be, which is something I found after looking at my behavior. And now that I have done that, I am going to make a conscious decision moving forward not to do this crap again.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't really want to get back in front of the universe and be like, hey, remember that stuff
You
that I said
remember when
I'd
I
stop
said I was
doing?
going to do that thing and I never did that thing?
Yeah, yeah, because
It gets
part of my view, huh?
it gets embarrassing every time you come
Yeah,
back. You're like, hey, so
yeah.
I know I
Hey,
said I wouldn't shove my hand on the hot burner. Guess what I did?
Hey God, it's
that,
me,
and
Cass
that's the
again. I
thing.
was checking that girl out, and my bad.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. It is because the way I view the universe and manifestation is if you show yourself the commitment when you want to change, then the universe commits to that change with you and things align. And then, but things do tend to pop up because bad shit happens.
Mhm.
And that is your chance to say, okay, this is the commitment I made to not return to these other behaviors. I am honoring my commitment and I am choosing a new path
Mhm. Yeah.
instead of saying, hey, I'm on the same path, but I'm so sorry about it.
It, it,
Anyway, I'll see you next week.
exactly. I'll be back
I'll be
next week.
starting next
Same
week
issue.
too.
Oh man.
Very much a same shit, different day.
Yeah.
And
But brought
and
on
the
by
universe,
yourself because you're not
yeah,
doing anything to change. Yeah, it's crazy, but
yeah,
but
because
yeah,
you keep
all of
hitting the
that.
same thing.
Yeah, yeah. But it all goes back to, unfortunately, the control of organized religion, government, um,
Hmm.
anything different is something that needs to be beaten out of you, or metaphorically and sometimes physically. Not saying that I subscribe to that, but that's just their
Hmm.
mindset. Um, so But yeah, I think we're getting.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of good stuff in today.
We did. Does anybody else want to add anything? Is there anything? We don't have to have it right now, but is there about next week? I know we have a poll up.
You cut out. You're cutting in and out.
No, I don't want to cut in and out.
No, it was just the audio. Like,
Oh, can you
you
hear
said,
me?
Will. Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay,
It was
you
just
sounded
like the
annoyed.
last couple. No,
We
no.
hear you
I'm
now.
sorry. I'm very stuffy,
It's
and
okay.
I'm
I know. I'm
sorry.
teasing. No,
Now
I'm
I
teasing.
hear you.
Yeah, we hear you. What do you mean?
Of course, we hear
What do
you,
you
B.
want?
Oh my
Um,
God.
so we have a poll up right now that has a few topics that we can discuss. I know we have 2 votes, at least 2 votes. We have one topic that's got more votes, and that's cryptids.
Mhm.
That is a very, 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 very big umbrella.
Mhm.
So if that's the one that stays there, we will discuss it next week, but in very broad sense.
Yeah.
Maybe our favorite cryptids, why they're our favorite cryptids, and then maybe we'll do a poll, a specific cryptid. Some have an idea of a cryptid? Please comment at last week's episode because we're still learning. Oh, by the way, our first episode up. Just a small celebration, real quick. We're podcasters.
But yeah, comment your favorite cryptid down below.
Oh my God, yes, and tell us why. Comment the favorite cryptid and why, and then we will eventually do an episode on that cryptid.
And if you've got any stories of encountering a cryptid of some sort, please share them with us. And we,
Oh my God,
if you give us permission, we will happily share them. If you've got pictures or videos, none of that fake stuff like Ghost Adventures, Zach Baggins, and all that Bagans, whatever the hell his name is.
So if you're out there and you have a cryptid adventure that you've been on, please send it to our email address. It's podcast@gmail.com. We would love to look those over. And if you'd like them read on our podcast, just let us know. You could either just share them with us so we can read them and privately go, ooh, or you could let us know and we can share them, and that'll also help us know which cryptids to talk about.
Yeah.
Because we'll talk about what you've seen. We'll talk about what we've heard.
We love the weird stuff. Like that. That's what we're here about.
Yeah, we're your weirdo besties. And we want to know. Talking about the tea.
Chaotic cryptids in here.
Tea. We're here for it.
Chaotic cryptids.
Okay. So send us your emails at podcast@gmail.com. That's LIKEYAKNOWPODCAST@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you guys. Come be a part of the group. Y'all sit around the fire.
Don't forget to download this and give us a star rating and comment. Do all of the things. Interact with it because we're going to get big and you're going to want to be part of it.
Yeah, you're going to want to be a part of the crew. Download this episode. Send it to your friends. We don't care if they want to hear it. Just send it out.
Tell them just put it on repeat in the background. They don't even got to listen to us. Just put it on.
In fact,
you can put your phone and let it play in the background.
Yeah, when that person comes up to you at work, send them this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're like, hey, would you like to come to my church? You'd be like, you know what? No, but
maybe.
Here, you should listen to this podcast.
Yeah, maybe.
Listen to this podcast and I'll consider it.
Also, on Instagram, same name, same spelling. Come see us on Instagram. We got a TikTok coming soon. Come follow us everywhere, like Joe from You on Netflix. We're open to that.
No, we're not.
No, I love that. I am here for it.
No, don't Joe us. Don't Joe us. I don't want to be Joed.
Joed.
Anyway, follow us, interact with us.
All of the above.
And don't forget. Oh, no, go ahead.
If shit gets weird,
get weirder.
I love
you. I was leaning into it.
It is.
I don't care.
Get weirder, though. I love that.
But I love get weirder better. So if
So-
shit gets weird,
Get weirder.
And lean into it. Have a good day, guys.
we'll see you guys next. Oh well, we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
Goodbye.